Everybody, welcome to the podcast. It's Seth and Paul. We are here today on the new Flipboard. Paul wanted to describe, we're in a weird situation, Paul, with the virus, the economy, everything going crazy. People are looking for bailouts. The government's going to bail out. Trump just said he's going to bail out the airlines.
Oh, did he say that?
He did say that. Yeah.
I have to remember talking on the microphone.
Yes, Paul is talking into a very phallic device today. Until we get our wireless mics up and running, this is how Paul's going to look. So in any case,
We had wireless mics.
we did.
I'm looking at the camera, Don.
And
Don't you worry.
Paul, tell us what you're going to do today. Tell us what you're describing.
So we're talking a lot about governments coming in and bailing out. And it bothers me because I believe in having surpluses during good times to pay for the bad times. We had no surpluses in the last 10 years. We haven't had surpluses since the late 90s, I believe. So we talk about taxes. We talk about how we can do this all. So Seth and I talk a lot about politics on the show. And I always talk about a flat tax. And everybody's opposed to a flat tax. And years ago, it was either the Heritage Foundation or the Cato Institute had a proposal that would basically make everybody happy. It would eliminate the welfare state, which would make the right happy, theoretically. It would give everybody in this country over the age of 18 a big chunk of money, whether you worked or didn't work. You can choose not to work, choose to work whatever you want, and gives us a flat tax and drastically reduces taxes. Drastically reducing taxes would actually make everyone happy, not just the right, not just the left, okay? So I'm here to describe the whole thing in my version of it. This isn't exactly what the Cato Institute did, but this is basically it.
Go on.
Couple of things. One, the U.S. population right now is about 330 million, okay? 18 and older is about 210 million. Currently, all tax receipts, everything, state, local, federal, property sales, every tax equates to about $7.2 trillion right now.
That's all we have to work with.
That's what we have to work with. Now, right now we're spending more, but I'm sitting there saying, listen, we need to get back to the 7.2 trillion and then go from there.
How much are we spending a year?
Like 8 right now. So we're in a deficit.
Okay.
The welfare state is currently 1.2 because the welfare state includes any Medicare, Medicaid, anything government related to help. What am I doing?
No, talk to the cam.
Anything related to helping people in some fashion, Social Security, unemployment, anything like that. We're basically eliminating that with this idea. Okay. Military. Everybody talks about the military. Let's make everybody happy. Currently, we spend about $1 trillion in military. Let's cut that in half. Go to half a trillion.
Can that be done?
Of course it can be done. The government's the biggest wasteful entity in the world. You're telling me they can't cut half of the military? Are we powerful? We're very powerful. Mm-hmm. But military is getting more technological. We don't need as many people. We can fight wars. I'll grant that whole thing. We'll just fire drones at people and be happy. I'm just trying to sit there and say...
Fire drones at people.
Is that what people do? Do we fire drones at people? Don's
happy.
laughing, so I'm assuming we don't do that.
Okay, go on.
And again, $10,000 for every person above the age 18. We have 210 million people. That's $2.1 trillion. Okay? So
wait, go back. I think you said again, but this is the first time you actually talked about 10,000.
Oh, so the idea is giving every single person in this country, I said it before.
Yeah, but go ahead.
$10,000. You can do whatever you want with it. If you're over the age of 18, you want to work, great, you still get a $10,000 check. You don't want to work? Great, you still get a $10,000 check. If you're a stay-at-home dad or mom and your wife or husband works, you get a $10,000 check, they get a $10,000 check. Whatever you want to do, you get a $10,000 check.
For example,
that is tax-free.
My wife was a school teacher making about $37,000. She was gone 50 hours a week.
Yep.
Summer's off, Christmas off, but this is
bank holidays off.
But after a third of her pay, this is not that bad to stay home.
Correct.
Okay, keep going.
Okay. Right now, the GDP is $21.8 trillion. GDP is essentially what we make in this country total. So we're going to treat that as our income number. So anytime we do taxes, it's going to be based off that number because that's essentially considered the total income of this country, right? So let's slide over. We had $7.2 trillion in tax receipts. We're getting rid of welfare, and we're getting rid of half the military.
Can you elaborate on that? Because that just sounds scary for a lot of people, getting rid of welfare.
Well, again, we're giving a $10,000 check to say to you, do whatever you want with it. Do you want to pay for health insurance part of it? Do you want to stay at home?
What do welfare recipients get?
It all depends. I mean, by the way, this isn't just welfare recipients. Welfare recipients are actually a small percentage of this. This is getting rid of Social Security. This is getting rid of, people think like, oh my God. It's like, well, what are you getting for Social Security right now?
I don't know.
I mean, if anybody thinks they're going to get Social Security in 30, 40 years, you're out of your mind. It's going to be cut down so low to nothing. And it's only for, we're now, and this is for life. This $10,000 check is for life, and you get it today. Okay? So it sounds like a lot, but the whole point is it's a give and take. Hell, call it $1.2 trillion cut overall. I don't care what you call it. The bottom line is you got to cut the $1.2 trillion out. And to me, the welfare state is the bad part of is a big part of the GDP, a big part of taxes that I just sit there and go, why are we doing this? We're giving people an incentive not to do other things. So it sounds hard to hear, but at the same time, why are we even giving people all these? If it's supposed to support them, then give them a $10,000 check. $10,000 check in your hands, do whatever you want with. Go get a job, make $40,000 a year, and get a $10,000 check.
Yeah, I would love to learn like how this relates to people who can't get a job.
Who cannot get a job?
Disabled folks.
Okay, great. We'll get to that. Just wait. Just hear me out for a second, would you?
Debilitating diseases.
Just hear me out for a second.
Okay, go on.
Taking out the 1.2 for the welfare state and $500 billion for military. We're down to 5.5. But we're adding 2.1 trillion in costs. That was from the $10,000 per person that we're giving everybody, right? 210 million people, 10,000. Okay? So we're at $7.6 trillion now that we need to collect. Before it was 7.2. If our total GDP is 21.8 and we need to collect 7.6, 7.6 divided by 21.8 is effectively 34.9% tax. 35%, let's call it 35%. But remember, this eliminates all sales taxes, all property taxes, all state income taxes, all federal income taxes.
What are you talking about?
Exactly. This 7.2 we had before was total tax receipts. We're getting rid of all that now. We're getting rid of all those tax rates, and we're just charging a one-time federal tax rate of 35%. And they'll distribute, but however you want to divide this up. If you want to divide it up 5% local, whatever you want to do, it's now for the poor, no more sales tax. You want to go buy a $5 gallon of milk? No more sales tax. Whatever milk is, $4?
Sure.
No more sales tax. You want to go buy shirts for yourself? No more sales tax. For everyone. Now, here's the big thing. I'm in the highest bracket right now, right? Do I like 35% as opposed to highest bracket of 37 plus state plus all these Social Security? No more Social Security tax. None of these things happen anymore. So let's give a couple examples. Here's why it's beneficial for everybody. Let's say you make $40,000 a year. Okay? What's 35% of 40,000? I mean, we can get, it's roughly a third, right? Yeah. So call it $14,000. So you're going to put $26,000. Oh, there you go.
It is 14,000. Go on.
And then you're getting $26,000 after taxes, right? Because you're taking your 40 grand and paying your 35% tax. But then you're getting a $10,000 check from the government. So what's your actual tax rate?
10%.
10%, right? Does that sound better than 35%? Or even better than 20% it is today? It's still lower.
What percentage are people who make 40, what percentage are they paying after it's all
I'd have to look at that, but with state, local, everything taxes.
And sales tax.
And sales tax, everything, it's got to be 25, 30% easily. Because the sales tax alone, if you're spending $30,000 a year, you're paying 7% sales tax. That alone is 5% of your income right there. Now let's do this math. Let's say you make $1 million a year. Minus 35%. 650,000. Add your 10,000 in. 660. You still paid 34%. So, the reason this is beneficial, one, it gives rich people a flat tax. Go spend whatever you want on it. It gives poor people with less money a lower tax to get that check. If you make $0, what do you get? You get a $10,000 check. Tax-free. Now you talk about, what about people who are doing, you got to remember, we live in a society right now. I used to be on the board of North Coast Community Homes, a completely private, self-funded entity that had 140 homes for the mentally handicapped who couldn't take care of themselves and their family members who couldn't afford to take care of themselves. There are good people out there. If you're telling me my flat tax now is 35%, am I going to be more or less generous with my extra money? Am I going to go start more jobs, donate to more charities? That's the theory behind it. And people claim that doesn't happen. Well, if it doesn't happen, it happens right now at a higher tax rate.
It does.
It happens now at a higher tax rate. So why wouldn't it happen at a lower tax rate? And to me, I feel like, okay, we're all in this together now. I get the same 10,000 you get. I get the same 35% you get. Why would I be upset?
So this is the true definition of everyone paying their fair share.
The fair share. Everyone's taxed the exact same amount. Everybody gets the same check. I will pay more because I have a higher income. But now, right now, currently today, this is a $100,000 swing for me. Extra in my pocket to do whatever I want with. You better believe I'm going to go sit there and go invest it and do other things. And how much of the IRS are you getting rid of? This takes all the complication away from the IRS.
So filing your taxes would be
2 seconds.
Yeah.
There's no more depreciate. Get rid of all these ridiculous things. All these ridiculous individual get rid of it all. Interest tax deduction, get rid of it all. By the way, I didn't even factor that in all this.
Tell me about it.
Well, look at interest tax deduction. I don't believe in the interest tax deduction. It helps a lot of people. If you want to make it, still give it, get rid of it, and make this check higher. I don't care. The whole point I'm trying to make by all this is there is a way to make everyone happy, but politicians won't allow that. There's a way to make every single person in this country happy, giving money to the poor, giving them an incentive to work, because now they're going to get this check no matter what. There's no, everybody always says, oh, people on welfare don't have an incentive to work. You don't have an incentive to work. Hey, this $10,000 here is free. Go get a job, you'll make even more money. If you make $20,000 a year, Seth, you pay 35%. What's 35% of 20,000? $7,000. 13.
Plus 10.
Plus 10. You now have more. You actually got more money back than you made. So how is this bad for everybody? Your biggest fear is, oh my God, what about the welfare state? Okay, what about it? Now you have all this money to go put towards all the things you want to do. There's your health insurance covered. There's some money for retirement. By the way, Social Security is the biggest scam in the world. It's averaged 1.8% per year in return. That's nothing. Now you can go put this towards stocks if you want. Put this towards a real estate. Go put it towards a ton of other things you want to do.
This is a lot.
It's a lot. But that's the thing. It's a very unique idea, and that's why people have a hard time with it. But it makes every single person happy. Every spectrum, poor to rich, they're going to be happy. Oh, by the way, no more capital gains tax rate. It's 35%. So that capital gains tax rate I have of 20%, 25, now goes to 35. But I'm okay with that. That's just a manipulation of income. I don't care. Like, to me, it's still income. I'm fine with that. Why would we not want to do that? And look at me, a guy like me, I'm like, hey, listen, get rid of my individual stupid deductions. Fine. I'm okay with that. Let me go do whatever I want with my money. And by the way, if you want to be greedy, be greedy. I don't care. You have what you want. If you make $100,000 a year, you're going to end up paying 25% in taxes with sales, state, everything, local taxes, property taxes, everything in there. Done.
Property taxes in your home?
All the taxes are gone. Total tax receipts here are $7.2 trillion. Total tax receipts. It's all included. It sounds good to be true. And by the way, I'm sure there are flaws in this. I'm sure there's some inaccuracy in here. Add $1 trillion to this, just to be safe. Add $1 trillion to it. You're still talking about how much? 4 or 5. I would be fine with this at 40% essentially, and give this $15,000. It's still lower than I pay right now with all sales tax, property tax. Add $1 trillion to it. Doesn't matter. I'll take it. And no rich person would not take it, and no poor person would not take it. The only reason not take it is it's not fair that I'm poor, and that point, that argument's never going to be a good argument in the sense of like arguing that one, because that's just I'm okay if I lose my thumb as long as you lose your arm. I'm okay with that.
Say that again. What do you mean? What's the argument?
The argument would be like, yeah, but it's not fair. You still make $1 million. That's what this bottom line is. The bottom line is it's still not fair that somebody makes $1 million or $2 million and somebody else makes 30,000. Even though I won't even get into the conversation about risk and all that stuff. Add $1 trillion to all this. Make this 40%. Put it all towards surpluses. It's still better for somebody making $1 million a year. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at going, let's say all these numbers are a little off. Paul, you're not factoring this in. Fine, add more to it. I don't care. All I care about is let's get back to a place of, the stipulation, by the way, also is you have to have a balanced budget. Have to have a balanced budget. spend, and I am even talking about savings. Then you go to these people and say, okay, government agencies, now your budgets are cut by 10%, be more efficient. If anybody thinks the government can't cut 10% of their budget, you're absolutely stupid. And put that all towards surpluses. Cut 10% of your 7.2 trillion, that's 720 billion a year in surpluses. Put that and just bank it. And then when catastrophic events like this happen, you have 7.2 trillion in 10 years to put towards the economy, or 3.6 trillion in 5 years to put towards the economy. But we don't operate this way in the government level. Why? Because the people who are all discussing the budget are people who want to give themselves something. All these Congress people, they have no incentive. They want to make things better for them. Why don't we have it where if they don't have a balanced budget, they don't get paid? I don't know why we don't have that. Or give them a percentage of it. Hey, if we have a surplus, here's what you guys get for a surplus. You better believe that thing would be surplus pretty quick. There's only 435 members. Give them 10% of the surplus and divide amongst all of them. They're going to make a lot of money. Give them go reward the action you want. Now, is that extreme? I don't know. I haven't thought it through. It came to me right now. But why wouldn't we? This is all going to this could all happen. People hear 35%, they go, oh yeah, but the current tax rate is 37. No, it's not. You have 5% in the state of Ohio for the highest bracket. You've got sales tax. You've got Social Security taxes. I mean, at the end of the day, it's over 50%. So I'm still saving a ton of money. I'm still saving 15%. I'm saving 150 grand on that $1 million if I make $1 million. Hell, I make $10 million, I'm saving $1.5 million. If I make 100 grand, I'm saving even more. I mean, I'm saving 15,000 bucks easily.
Yeah.
Why would we not do that? Because it's not somebody paying more who has more. That's exactly what it is at the end of the day. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's all these politicians who just want to make themselves feel important and look at all these you ever see these like things that get passed, these budgets get passed? I mean, they're so thick. Why? Because people are throwing okay, fine, I'll do this for you, but I need $2 million from my local library. It's like, oh, okay. We all think that this country is going to crumble if the government isn't just handing out checks to people. But yet we also say the U.S. is a strong, great, hardworking economy. And why would we? It's completely contradictory. Mm-hmm. So what's in your mind, Seth?
Well, you mentioned this to me before, and it's interesting to see the numbers.
Yeah, I never did the numbers for you before. I mean, isn't it exciting to think about, though? To me, it is. I look at it and think to myself, great, this would be awesome, but it's never going to happen.
I mean, I think there's a vast percentage of people who still think the rich should be paying way more.
Yeah.
Because they don't need that much money.
And the only reason, the only reason is I don't have it, you do. There's no other reason. Because guess what? All the people I knew who used to say that, when they become rich, don't pay any extra than they have to. If you really believe what you said, you would pay as much as you could that you needed to. But all of a sudden then it's like, well, no, I have to go invest in my business. Oh, so the same things I said before. Got it. Mm-hmm. It's ironic how people, when they start to get money, get a little more like, wait a second, it's mine. It's like, let me go do what I want with it. And people who get money are very generous too. Very, very generous people. But why shouldn't charities just be like businesses, which they are right now? Go out there and solicit it. Hey guys, you just got a big tax debt break. Let's go talk about putting this money towards something.
Yeah, interesting. All right, Paul. What would you call this? What are they calling this?
I don't know what they called it. I read this article back like 20 years ago in college. I don't even know. I tried finding it recently. I couldn't find it. But the bottom line is, the math works out. It's not like I have to go find it. I'm like, oh, the math does work.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Follow Learn From Us podcast with Paul and Seth, and subscribe on YouTube. We're working this awesome Flipboard where Paul can show us some numbers. We're going to be going over some stocks. Especially in this weird time where people might be buying soon if everything can recover a bit. So thanks for joining us. Subscribe below.
Why would people buy if it's recovering?
Well, I mean, right. Well, of course. We'll buy when it's low. So. All right. Follow us on YouTube. Thanks, guys.